Hare Krishna. So today we are going to look at the first chapter of this book, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, after having seen the background of Bob Cohen and his meeting with Srila Prabhupada. Now, chapter 1 is called Krishna, the All Attractive. So here's a discussion in Mayapur in the Bhajan Kutir of Srila Prabhupada in India, in West Bengal, February 1972. So Bob Cohen asked a question. What is the meaning of the name Krishna? Prabhupada says Krishna means all attractive. So we have seen this before. Here is the book, Beyond Birth and Death, in chapter 1. There's another meaning Prabhupada gives here. The name Krishna, which is non-sectarian, means the greatest pleasure. Krish means greatest and Na means pleasure. So that's another meaning. Krishna is all attractive. Krishna also means the greatest pleasure. Right? So then Bob says, all attractive? Prabhupada says, yes. So unless God is all attractive, how can he be God? A man is important when he is attractive, is it not? So God means the supreme, he should be the most attractive. It is so, Bob says. So God must be attractive and attractive for all. Therefore, if God has any name, or if you want to give any name to God, only Krishna can be given, because Krishna means all attractive. That's most perfect. Then Bob asks, but why only the name Krishna? Prabhupada says, because he is all attractive. Krishna means all attractive. God has no name, but by his qualities we give him names. If a man is very beautiful, we call him beautiful. If a man is very intelligent, we call him wise. So the name is given according to the quality. Because God is all attractive, the name Krishna can be applied only to him. Krishna means all attractive. It includes everything. But what about a name meaning all powerful? So most religions, they call their God all powerful, right? So Prabhupada says, yes, unless you are all powerful, how can you be all attractive? So when Prabhupada says all attractive, it means it includes everything. So we have seen before also, the father of Vyasadev, Parashara Muni, he gives a definition of God, right? Aishwarasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasha, Shriya. If one has these 6 opulences, Shad Aishwarya, Purna, in complete, then he is actually God. One who has all wealth, all fame, all knowledge, all beauty, all renunciation, and all strength. Such a person who has everything in complete, that is God. So he becomes naturally all attractive, because someone who's rich is attractive, someone who's powerful is attractive, someone who's famous is attractive, someone who's very strong is attractive. So here he's saying all powerful is only one aspect, strength. But Prabhupada says all attractive means everything. Prabhupada's secretary at the time, Shyam Sundar Prabhuji, he says, the name Krishna includes everything. Srila Prabhupada, everything. He must be very beautiful. He must be very wise. He must be very powerful. He must be very famous. Bob asked a very interesting question. So is Krishna attractive to the rascals? Prabhupada says, oh yes. He was the greatest rascal also. Bob says, how is that? Prabhupada laughs and says, because he was always teasing the gopis. Shamsundar teasing? So Prabhupada tells the pastime. Yes, sometimes when Radha Rani would go out, Krishna would attack her. And then when she would fall down, Krishna, don't torture me in this way. They would fall down and Krishna would take the opportunity and kiss her. Prabhupada laughs. So Radha Rani was very pleased, but superficially Krishna was the greatest rascal. He was doing so much of mischief. So unless rascaldom is in Krishna, how can rascaldom exist in this world? Right? So Krishna is the person that does so much mischief. Right? That's why there's mischief in this world. But this world's mischief is different. The mischief in this world is harming people. Whereas the mischief that is seen in God, right, where he takes pleasure, is actually enlivening people. Our formula of God is that he is the source of everything. Unless rascaldom is in Krishna, it would not be manifested here, because he is the source of everything. But his rascaldom is so nice that everyone worships his rascaldom, right? So Krishna is known as Ranachor, one who ran away from battle. People worship him. Krishna is known as Makanchor, who steals. People worship him. Krishna is known as doing Vastraharan Leela, he steal the garments of Gopi. He is worshipped. Right? So whatever Krishna does, what seemingly in external world is good and bad, but Lord is absolute, everything is good within him. So all kinds of dualities, they get resolved within God. Whatever God does is perfect and clean and attractive. But if anyone tries to imitate it, then it becomes affected by the material qualities, right? Krishna dancing with so many gopis, it's so beautiful. They're all his energies. But any person in this world try to enjoy like that, they will actually create a havoc in society. So then Bob asked a question, what about the rascals who are not so nice? Krishna hears rascaldom is very cute, very nice. What about those rascaldom which is not very nice? Prabhupada says, no, rascaldom is not nice, but Krishna is absolute. He is God. Therefore, his rascaldom is also good. Krishna is all good. God is good. So this concept one has to understand that we see in this world good and bad. Everything comes from Krishna, but those qualities within Krishna is all perfect. But when they are manifested in this world, we perceive them as good and bad. So someone doing some rascaldom in this world are causing harm to others. When Krishna does something, it enlivens others. That's the biggest difference. Bob says yes. Prabhupada. Therefore, when he becomes a rascal, that is also good. Rascaldom is not good, but when it's practiced by Krishna, that rascaldom is also good. Just like Lord stealing and Lord lying and Lord this and that. Because he is absolutely good. This one has to understand. And actually, this point is difficult because there are like other religions, they would deny this. He says, no, 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 God is a good God. He cannot do anything bad. So they say stealing is bad. God will never steal. But Sanatan Dharma or the Vedas, they say that yes, Krishna can steal also, but Krishna stealing brings pleasure to others. Bob continues to say, are there some people who do not find Krishna attractive? Srila Prabhupada says, no, all people will find him attractive. Who is not attracted? Just give an example. This man or this living entity, who is not attracted to Krishna? Just find such a person, Prabhupada says. Bob says, somebody who wishes to do things in life that he may feel are wrong, but who wishes to gain power or prestige or money may find God unattractive. So he's saying that someone who's very materialistic, who do not want to surrender to God, they do not want to worship the Lord, because they feel that, God is going to stop me. He may not find God attractive because God gives him guilt. He wants to do the wrong things. So what about such people? There must be people who are not attracted to Krishna. You're saying Krishna is all attractive, but there must be people who are not attracted. Prabhupada says, no, everyone is attracted. So Prabhupada gives this understanding. He says, no, not God. His attraction is to become powerful. That person who's not a devotee is attracted to what? Power. A man wants to become powerful, rich, is it not? But nobody is richer than Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is attractive to him. He's the very fact that he is attracted to wealth or richness means he's actually attracted to the energy of Krishna. He may not accept it coming from Krishna. He may not agree it's coming from Krishna, but reality, it's an energy of Krishna. A person wants to become powerful. A person wants to become strong. A person wants to become famous. This is nothing but the energy of Krishna. So actually, unknown to them or not accepted by them, they are attracted to Krishna. Therefore, everyone is attracted to Krishna. Right? There's a beautiful verse in this connection from the Mathura episodes of Krishna's pastime. This is the 10th canto, 43rd chapter, 17th verse. This shloka shows that when Krishna and Balaram enter into the wrestling arena of Kamsa, how so many different varieties of people saw Krishna in different ways. They were attracted to Krishna in different ways, according to their mellows, their moods, right? So 10 different ways. So the shloka goes like this. Mallanam ashanir nirnam naravara strinam smaro murtiman gopanam swajano shatam shitibujam shashtasva pitro shishu mirtyo bhojapater virada vidusham tattvam param yoginam vrishninam paradevate vidito rangam gata sagraja. Rangam Gata, when he entered into the wrestling arena, Sagraja, along with his brother Balaram, first the Mallanam, the wrestlers that were there, they saw him as Ashanir, as lightning that's coming to strike them. The wrestlers saw Krishna as lightning. Nirnam Naravara, the men in the audience, they saw Krishna as the best among men. Strinam Smaro Murtiman, the women in the audience, they saw Krishna as a beautiful Cupid, right? Gopanam Swajano, the cowherd men from Vrindavan who had come in the wrestling match to see, they saw Krishna as Swajano, our person, right? He's from our village. He's Vridavasi, right? Ashatam Shitibujam Shashta. So those evil kings, the evil kings in this world, they saw Krishna as the punisher, subduer. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. Swapitro Shishu, the fathers, they saw Krishna like a son. 6. Mrityu Bhojapatir, the king of the Bhoja dynasty, Kamsha, saw Krishna like in death personified. 7. Virat Abhidusham, those who had no knowledge about Shastra, they saw Krishna like the Virat Roop, the sum total of all creation has entered. Tattvam para yoginam, the great yogis, they saw Krishna as the original, the highest absolute truth. That's what they're meditating on, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the 10th, Vrishninam Paradevati. The Vrishnis, they saw Krishna as their most worshipful Lord. So like that, 10 people are seeing that one Krishna in many ways. Okay. So Bob asked, if a person wants to become rich and prays to Krishna, will he become rich? Now, I'm sure everyone loves this question. Everyone thinks of this question. Prabhupada says, oh yes, because Krishna is all powerful. If you pray to Krishna to become rich, he will make you rich. But of course, we understand that more intelligent is, what are you going to do with the money? Nothing wrong with getting money, but what are you going to do with it? If you only want money, then you'll get money. You will lose Krishna. But money is not eternal. Money comes, money goes. Bob says, if somebody lives an evil life but prays to become rich, he may still become rich? It's an interesting question. This is perfect question, perfect answer is very interesting. So Prabhupada says, if a person is evil, not a devotee, bad, doing bad things, and he prays to Krishna, he's praying to Krishna, he's chanting Krishna's name, but he has bad desires. Will he become rich? Prabhupada says, yes. Praying to Krishna is not evil. Laughing. Somehow or other, he prays to Krishna. You cannot say he's evil. So a person may have material desires, maybe have wrong desires, but praying to Krishna. Krishna is so powerful that Krishna will slowly purify his desires. Bob says yes. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Api chet suduracharo bhajante mamananya bhak sadureva samantavya. So this is the 9th chapter, 30th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Bob says, Prabhupada asks, have you read it? Bob says, yes, the Sanskrit I don't know, but the English I do. He read the English version of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada, Bob says, even if the most evil man prays to me, he will be elevated. Bob is saying, quoting the Gita. Prabhupada says, yes. As soon as he begins to pray to Krishna, that is not evil. Therefore, Krishna is all attractive. It is said in the Vedas that the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all pleasure. Raso vai saha. Everyone is hankering after someone because he realized some mellow within it. Right. So this is very beautiful point here that Krishna is so powerful. He's such a prophylactic antiseptic agent that, it doesn't let you get sick. And even if you get sick, he cures you from sickness. Have you read this before? So someone who's even evil, bad, having negative desires, even if they worship Krishna, Krishna will definitely purify them for it. So therefore, there is no loss, right, for someone to worship Krishna, whoever he may be, the biggest murderer, criminal, evil person, terrorist, whatever. If they worship the Supreme Lord, they are to be benefited. So when Prabhupada says that everyone is hankering after some mellow, rasa, Bob asks a question, excuse me, what is mellow? Prabhupada says some mellow. Suppose a man is drinking. Why is he drinking? He is getting some mellow out of that drinking. A man is hankering after money because by possessing money, he gets some mellow out of it. What does mellow mean? Because his word mellow is a literary term, poetic term. Mellow means rasa. Mellow means taste. Mellow means some emotion, feeling, right? Euphoria that you get out of it. So Srila Prabhupada turns to Shyam Sundar, his secretary, asks, how do you define mellow? Shyam Sundar says taste, pleasure. Bob says, person drinks because he gets some mellow out of it, some taste out of it. A person, goes after money because he's getting some hankering out of it. So Prabhupada says pleasing taste. All kinds of pleasing taste in this world ultimately comes from Krishna. So the Vedas say raso vaisaha. The exact translation of mellow is rasa. Malati, Shyam Sundar's wife, enters with a tray of food. Prabhupada, what is that? Malati says eggplant, brinjal, fried. So Bengalis are very fond of eggplant and brinjal, especially fried. So Prabhupada says, oh, all attractive. Prabhupada jokes. Now Bob comes to a second question. He talks about what is Krishna. Now next question. What is a scientist? So he asked this question because he's a science teacher. If you remember, we discussed in the earlier section of this video, the series, right? So he asked, what is a scientist? Prabhupada says, one line definition. Scientist is one who knows things as they are. Right? That is the definition of science, to explain things as they are. So scientist is one who knows things as they are. But Bob says he thinks he knows, because we agree 1972 and even now, science is a lot of postulations and hypotheses. So he said he thinks he knows. Prabhupada says, what? He hopes he knows that things are. He's hoping what we are saying is true. Prabhupada says, no, he is supposed to know. We approach the scientist because he is supposed to know things correctly. A scientist means one who knows things as they are. Shamsundar asks, how is Krishna the greatest scientist? Because he knows everything. A scientist is one who knows a subject matter thoroughly. Krishna knows everything, so he is the greatest scientist. Now Bob says, I am presently a science teacher. Prabhupada says, yes, but unless you have perfect knowledge, how can you teach? That is our question. Bob kind of like, caught off guard. He says, without perfect knowledge, though, you can teach. Prabhupada says, that is cheating. That is not teaching, that is cheating. Right? The scientists say there was a chunk and the creation took place. Perhaps, maybe. What is this? Simply cheating. Very interesting, right? So instead of saying, instead of being a teacher, people are cheater. Prabhupada is making that pun. Simply cheating. It is not teaching, it is cheating. Then Bob still goes on to say, without perfect knowledge, can I not teach some things? I may not understand something, but can't I explain it? For example, Prabhupada cuts in, he says, you may teach up to the point you know. You can only explain something to the point that you understand. If you have $100, you can only give $100. You can't give $200. So then Bob says, yes, but I should not claim to teach more than I know. Yes, Prabhupada says, that is cheating. If you don't know, you don't know. Shamsundar, in other words, he can't teach the truth with partial knowledge. Prabhupada says, yes, that is not possible for any human being. A human being has imperfect senses, so how can he teach perfect knowledge? Suppose you see the sun as a disk. You have no means to approach the sun. If you say that we can see the sun by telescope and this and that is also made by you, that is also imperfect. Right? So this is the reality. Some people say nowadays that we have so many instruments of science which can help us overcome the defect of our senses. But factually, even if you look through the telescope, still you have to perceive finally with your eye. Just like you take a photograph of something, ultimately the real understanding comes with our eye. And when the eye itself has a defect, eye itself cannot perfectly understand, how much ever you zoom and micro down or macro out, we are going to perceive ultimately with the eye. So how can your machine be perfect? Therefore, our knowledge of the sun is imperfect. So don't teach about the sun unless you have perfect knowledge. That is cheating. And Bob says, but what about teaching that it's suppose the sun is 93 million miles away? As soon as you say, Prabhupada says, it is supposed, it is not scientific. But I think that almost all science then is not scientific. Prabhupada says, that is the point. Now you come to the point. All science is based on, suppositions, right? Suppositions of this and that. That means there's hypothesis, there's postulations. They say that based on this, the science is created. Now we have seen in our own lives, right? We all, like at least my time, grew up learning that there were 9 planets. Pluto was one of them. And then some decades ago, they decided that no, Pluto is no longer a planet. Pluto is a moon that orbits one of the planets. So that changes. So like that, throughout the whole history of science, you see there's so much change. In the initial years of science, around the century, people thought that the brain was an organ to cool the blood. That blood supply used to go to the brain, becomes cool and come back down. So like that, so many understanding. Even till today, scientists cannot explain what the appendix is. Right? If you have appendicitis or you have appendix, you ask the doctor, what is this gland for? They say it's a vestige gland. It's a waste. It's just somehow the body, somehow through evolution or whatever. So why would the body create something which is useless? There must be a reason for it, isn't it? But modern science cannot explain. They do not find the function. They see that if you do an operation, you remove the appendix, still people are alive, still things are going on. So it must be a useless thing. They're saying like that, right? They do not know the reason for it. Srila Prabhupada, yes, they are teaching imperfectly, just like they are advertising so much about the moon. Do you think their knowledge is perfect? Bob says no. So this is 1972, and moon landing happened by the so-called Americans, moon landing in 1969. It's a big hype. America has reached moon. But if you look so many videos online, YouTube here and then, even according to Shastras, it is very unlikely. Even if they had gone somewhere, Prabhupada says they must have landed on some asteroid or something. Okay. So Prabhupada says, then what is the proper duty of a teacher in society then? If you cannot teach, you can, let us say a science teacher, what should he be doing in the classroom? Srila Prabhupada, classroom, you should simply teach about Krishna. Wow, what is this, Sounds fanatic, but Prabhupada goes on to explain. He should not teach about, no, that will include everything. His aim should be to know Krishna. So modern day science teaches us why. Oh, how. Okay, I can tell you how how the sea is blue, how the sky is blue, how things work, how water is made of. But why? Who has made it? That science doesn't talk about. Why? Why is this like this? Why is this so? Right? So science does not give that background. Science tells you just how things work. But why they work, who has made them, that is not discussed. So Prabhupada is saying that in the classroom, speak about Krishna means go to that point, that who is the creator. Okay, so Prabhupada goes on to explain, can a scientist teach science of combining acid and alkali, this kind of science, with Krishna as its object? How can it be, Prabhupada says. So Bob explains, when one studies science, one finds general tendencies of nature, and these general tendencies of nature point to a controlling force. Srila Prabhupada says, that I was explaining the other day. I asked a chemist, now Prabhupada himself is also a pharmacist, chemist, whether according to chemical formulations, hydrogen and oxygen linked together become water. Do they not? Yeah, H2O. Bob says it is true. Now, Prabhupada says, there is a vast amount of water in the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. What quantity of chemicals are required? What quantity of hydrogen? What quantity of oxygen? Bob, how much? Yes. How many tons? Bob says, many to create such an ocean. Prabhupada says, who has supplied it? Bob says, that was supplied by God. Prabhupada says, somebody must have supplied it. Bob says, yes. So that is science. You can teach like that. So you teach people hydrogen, oxygen combined together, you get water. But take it a step further. Now think, all the water in the world, where is it coming from? Where is the hydrogen molecules coming from? Where is the oxygen? And link that to Krishna. He said, this kind of teaching, that is okay. So Bob says, should one bother teaching that if you combine acid and alkali, they form a neutral? Prabhupada says the same thing. There are so many effervescences. Effervescences mean in science lab, when you add, there's bubbling, right? And vapor comes out. That is called effervescence. So who is making them? Who is supplying the acid and alkali? Bob, they come from the same source as water, God. Prabhupada says, yes, you cannot manufacture water unless you have hydrogen, oxygen. So there are vast oceans, not only this Atlantic and Pacific, there are millions of planets and there are millions of Atlantic and Pacific oceans. So who created this water with hydrogen and oxygen, and how was it supplied? That is our question. Somebody must have supplied it. Otherwise, how has it come to existence? Right. So this is the main purpose. When we teach, we should see behind it. Who is that? So there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita 15.15 where Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matas sarvam kirtim matas smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarve aham eva vedyo. This is the line. When you study the Vedas, you should understand the goal of the Vedas. It's not just the hows and the whys and the this and that, but the purpose of the whole Vedas is to know the personality. Vedescha sarve aham eva vedyo. The whole purpose of the knowing the Vedas is to know Krishna. He is the real object of study. Okay. So Bob says, but should it be also taught how to make water from hydrogen and water, oxygen? The procedure of bringing them together, is that also to be taught? Prabhupada says that is secondary. So first you explain the source, understanding it. And then secondary, as per need basis, you want to make water. Okay, fine. Prabhupada says that is not very difficult. So he gives an example. Just like Malati made this puri. So there is flour, there is ghee, and she made puri. But unless there is ghee and flour, where is the chance of making puri? So first you understand the existence. Where did flour come from? Where did flour come from? Where did ghee come from? And then you understand that just by putting it together, I make puri. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes this statement. Water, earth, air, fire, they are my energies. Right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, they are my energies. This is the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 4th verse. Right? Bhumi apona lova yu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyam me binna prakriti ashtadha. These are his 8 separated energies. So Prabhupada continues to say, what is your body? This external body, that is your energy. Do you know that? Your body is made out of your energy. For example, I am eating. Bob says, yes. So I'm creating some energy. Therefore, my body is maintained. Oh, I see. So therefore, your body is made out of your energy. Your here means Prabhupada talking about the soul. Soul is what is energizing this body. Bob says, but when you eat the food, there is energy from the sun in the food. Prabhupada says, so I'm giving an example. I am creating some energy by digesting the food, and that is maintaining my body. If your energy supply is not proper, then your body becomes weak or unhealthy. Your body is made out of your own energy. Again, your means your soul. Similarly, this gigantic cosmic body, this universe, is made out of Krishna's energy. How can you deny it? As your body is made out of your energy, again, your here means soul, so the universal body must be made out of somebody's energy, that is Krishna. So here Bob becomes a bit confused because he didn't register that point of soul. He was thinking that your energy. So Bob asks a question. I'll have to think about it to follow that. Prabhupada says, what is there to follow? It is there a fact. Your hair is growing daily, Prabhupada says. Why? Because you have energy. And Bob says, okay, that energy I'm getting from food. Prabhupada says, somehow or other you have obtained that energy. And through that energy, your hair is growing. So if your body is manufactured by your energy, similarly, the whole gigantic universe is made out of God's energy. It is a fact. It is not your energy. So Bob is like, okay, I see that. So Prabhupada gives another example. A devotee says, just like aren't the planets in this universe the sun's energy, a product of the sun's energy? Prabhupada says, yes. But who produced the sun? That is Krishna energy. The sun is simply heat. And Krishna says, Bhumi apo nalo vayu anala. Heat. That is my energy. The sun is the representation of the heating energy of Krishna. It is not your energy. You cannot say, this sun is made by me, right? So ultimately, we have to see where everything comes from. But somebody must have made it, and Krishna says that he did. So we believe Krishna. Therefore, we are Krishnites. Prabhupada coins this term, Boybs like Krishnites. Prabhupada says, yes. And therefore, our knowledge is perfect. If I say that heat is the energy of Krishna, you cannot deny it because it's not your energy. In your body, there is a certain amount of heat. Similarly, the sun's heat is someone's energy. Who is that person? That is Krishna. Krishna says, yes, it is my energy. So why Prabhupada is talking all this is nowadays, there's so much science and all that's very good, but they're discussing all the energies, but they're not discussing the energetic. And therefore, modern day science has become a little atheistic. If we look at the earlier scientists, great scientists like Newton, Einstein, and Kelvin, they are all very much theistic people who are very much God faithful people, right? But nowadays, modern science, they want to teach how things work, where things come from, but remove God from the picture. Do not even discuss about the origin. So Prabhupada here is emphasizing that first understand. The real scientist means you understand where everything is coming from. So my knowledge is perfect because I take the version of the greatest scientist. I am the greatest scientist. I may be a fool personally. Personally, I have no qualification, but because I have heard from the best, who's Krishna, the greatest scientist, therefore the knowledge that I can speak to you is also the greatest. But because I take knowledge from the greatest scientist, I am the greatest scientist. I have no difficulty. Excuse me? I have no difficulty in becoming the greatest scientist because I take knowledge from the greatest scientists. We accept what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. This earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, they are my 8 separated energies. Bob says, what is a separated energy? Prabhupada gives a very easy example. Just like this milk. What is milk? The separated energy of the cow. And Shyam Sundar and Bob both are stunned and they laughed in realization. Exactly. Milk is very nourishing, isn't it? But milk is the separated energy of the cow. It is a byproduct, the manifestation of the cow. But it's so powerful. It's energetic. It can energize you. Isn't it not? It is the manifestation of the separate energy of the cow. Shyam Sundar says, is it like byproduct? Yes, Prabhupada says. So what is the significance of this energy being separated from Krishna? Why do you have to call it separated energy? Prabhupada says separated means that it is made out of the body of the cow, but it is not the cow. That is the separation. Prabhupada says, so this earth and all is made out of Krishna, but it's not Krishna. Prabhupada says it is not Krishna. Or you can say it is Krishna and not Krishna simultaneously. That means it is Krishna's, but it's not Krishna. That is our philosophy, one and different. So therefore, in Sanatana Dharma, people get confused with this. We respect everything, but again, we agree that everything is not God. We respect everything because they are God's energy, but we also understand that they are not God. In other places, Prabhupada gives this example of a Ford car. If you look at a car with the branding Ford, he says, oh, this is Alfred Ford, looking at the car, but actually it is not Alfred Ford, right? So it's like a separated energy. It carries the same name, but it has a different existence. But it's coming from that origin. So Prabhupada says, this is our philosophy, one and different. Achintya bheda abheda tattva. Bhedam and abhedam. Simultaneously it's separated and not also. You cannot say that things in this world are different from Krishna, because without Krishna, they have no existence. At the same time, you cannot say that let me worship water. Why worship Krishna? That's also foolish. The pantheists, those who worship nature, say that because everything is God, whatever we do is God's worship. This is Mayavad philosophy. We don't accept. Just because water, air, everything is coming from God doesn't mean I can worship everything. Right? I can't worship a bottle of water. I can't worship a table. It is God's energy, but it's not worshipable. That because everything is made of God's energy, therefore everything is God. This is Mayavad philosophy. But our philosophy is that everything is God, but also not God. So Bob asked a question. Is there anything on earth that is God? Yes. If in one sense, everything here is God because everything is made out of God's energy. But that does not mean that by worshipping anything, you are worshipping God. Just like I have a Ford car. Does that mean that I'm best friends with Alfred Ford? No, isn't it? Just because I have Ford car doesn't mean that I am knowing Henry Ford personally. No, it just means that you are connected with Ford, but you're not connected also. So Bob says, so what on this earth that is not Maya? Oh, Prabhupada says Maya means energy. Bob says it means energy. Yes. Another meaning of Maya is illusion. Like sometimes Durga is called Vishnu Mai. She's the energy of Vishnu. So foolish persons accept the energy as the energetic. That's wrong. That is Maya. Suppose the sunshine enters your room. Sunshine is the energy of the sun. But simply because the sunshine enters your room, you cannot say that the sun has entered. If the sun itself enters your room, then your room and yourself, everything will be finished. Isn't it? Sometimes we open the curtain and say, oh, wow, look, the sun has come. Actually, the sun has not come. The sun's energy is not different, but still there's a difference. You will not have the leisure to understand that the sun has entered. Is it not? Bob says it is so. Prabhupada says, still you cannot say that sunshine is not the sun. Without the sun, where is sunshine? But at the same time, it is not the sun. It is the sun and not the sun both. That is our philosophy. Achintya bheda abheda. Inconceivable difference and non-difference. Therefore, this is a very important point to understand Krishna consciousness. The triangle is there. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti. God, the living entity, and the energy of the Lord. Understand this connection. Three are connected, three are separate also. Right? Christians have the similar concept of Trinity. Right? So they say they are three separate and three in one also. So this concept comes from Sanatana Dharma. Three concepts of Ishvara, Jiva, and Prakriti. Right? Christians say the name of the Father, the name of the Son, the name of the Holy Spirit. Three things. But we also say that Ishvara and Jiva. So if one is connected, Ishvara and Jiva is same. That is Maya. Jiva and God cannot be same. If one connects God and Prakriti as same, They become pantheists, they become, animism worshippers. They worship nature as God. That's also wrong in one sense, right? So one should understand how three of these are connected, but at the same time separate existence also. In the material sense, you cannot conceive a thing that a thing is simultaneously positive and negative. In this material world, there's always dvanda, there's always separation. If this is red, it is red. If this is blue, it is blue. It cannot be lumped together. But spiritual world, it is different and same simultaneously. But that is spiritual reality, Prabhupada says. Because everything is Krishna's energy, Krishna can manifest himself in any energy. Therefore, when we worship Krishna in a form made of something, earth, stone, metal, or something like that, that is Krishna. You cannot say that it's not Krishna. When we worship this metal form of Krishna, the deity in the temple, that is also Krishna. That is a fact, because metal is an energy of God. Therefore, it is non-different from Krishna. And Krishna is so powerful that he can present himself fully in his energy. So this deity worship is not heathenism, right? Paganism. It is actually worship of God, but provided you know the process. So it's not that you can take any piece of metal and worship. Say that this is God. Oh, same thing you are worshipping. No. There is a process. There is a shastra that teaches you that only certain forms are bona fide. Everything else is not bona fide. So Bob catches this point. He says, if you know the process, then the deity becomes Krishna. Prabhupada says, not becomes, the deity is Krishna, if you know the process. So here Bob reiterates, the deity is Krishna, but only if you know the process. Prabhupada says, yes, just like this electric wire, it is electricity. One who knows the process can derive electricity out of it. Shamsundar, otherwise it is just a wire. Prabhupada, just a wire, right? So people who are worshipping wrong forms of God, they say that this is also God worship. It's not God worship. It's not the process. It may look the same. You may make some form. Recently, someone sent some video of someone creating some alien and then worshipping it the same way, putting flowers, putting arti. That is not accepted, right? Because that is not the process. So Bob says, so if I build a statue of Krishna, it is not Krishna unless, Prabhupada says, it is Krishna. But you have to know the process of understanding that it's Krishna. Then it is Krishna. Bob, it is not just earth and mud. No. Earth has no separate existence without Krishna. Krishna says, earth is my energy. You cannot separate the energy from the energetic. It is not possible. You cannot separate heat from fire. Still, fire is different from heat. Right? Fire and heat are two different things, but they cannot be separated. When there's fire, automatically there's heat and light. And heat is different from the fire. Right? Sometimes you see there's a heating coil. There's no fire, but there's heat. If you are feeling heat, that does not mean you are touching fire. Fire, in spite of emanating heat, keeps his identity. Similarly, although Krishna has different energies, is creating everything, he remains Krishna. The Mayavadi philosophers think that Krishna is everything, then Krishna's separate identity is lost. So the Mayavadis or the impersonally say that everything is God. You are God, I am God, you worship a log, you worship a window, you worship a shoe, everything is Krishna. That is wrong. We don't agree like that. Krishna has his own personal identity. That is material thinking. For example, by my drinking this milk, little by little, when I finish, there is no more milk. It has gone to my belly. Krishna is not like that. He is omnipotent. We are utilizing his energy, but still he is present. So Lord is not diminishing, creating so many things and he is gone. Not like that. Prabhupada gives a crude example. Man begets many children, but the man is still there. It is not that because he has produced many children, he is finished. Similarly, God or Krishna, in spite of his unlimited number of children, is still there. Purnasya purnam adhaya purnam eva vashishyate. Because he is complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. Right? Spiritual mathematics, 1 minus 1 equals to 1. So Lord creates everything, still he is complete. This is Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada says. Krishna is never finished. Krishna is so powerful. Therefore, he is all attractive. This is one side of the display of Krishna's energy. Similarly, he has unlimited energies. The study of Krishna's energy is only one side, only a portion. So in this way, if you go on studying Krishna, That is Krishna consciousness. It is not a bogus thing. Maybe, perhaps, absolutely, it is. So Shyam Sundar says, and the study itself is never finished. Srila Prabhupada says, no, how can it be? Krishna is unlimited. So Krishna is unlimited. Understanding Krishna is also unlimited. But that is the supreme absolute truth. When one understands Krishna, because he is the greatest scientist, one also becomes the greatest scientist. So like that, we'll end the first chapter. Very interesting questions by Bob in understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.